Hello students, today I am going to start a new chapter, from your footprints without feet. The first lesson of the book Footprints Without Feet is a triumph of surgery. A triumph of surgery. This is the first lesson of this book, Footprints Without Feet. And then the first lesson I am going to start and explain. First of all, something is given to read. Tricky is a small dog. In this story, Tricky is a small dog. Mm. Is pampered and overfed by his rich mistress, and the dog is pampered and overfed, that had become very fat because of what his mistress had overfed him. He falls seriously ill, and his mistress consults a veterinary doctor surgeon, and when the dog falls seriously ill, the rich mistress consult a veterinary surgeon. You know, veterinary surgeon, the doctor for animals. Does he perform an operation? The question is that does the surgeon does any kind of operation? Does the dog recovers and does the dog become well? Now this starts. I was really worried about Tricky this time. The author is a doctor here. So he said that he was really worried about Tricky this time. That means he was so much worried about Tricky this time. I had pulled up my car when I saw him in the street with his mistress, and I was shocked at his appearance. He stopped his car on the road. That means the doctor was going somewhere on his car, and when he saw the Tricky on road, he stopped the car on the road and saw in the street that the dog with his mistress, and he was shocked. The doctor was shocked to see the appearance, the figure of the dog. He had become hugely fat, like a bloated sausage with a leg at each corner. The dog had become hugely fat, means so much fat. No, just like a bloated sausage. You know, bloated sausage, and just it was looked at. It was a bloated sausage, and only the four legs were joined in that sausage. His eyes, bloodshot and rheumy, stared straight ahead, and his tongue lolled from his jaw. And the dog's eyes were red, had become something dangerous, looking something dangerous, and his tongue was coming out from his mouth, panting heavily. Mrs. Pomfrey hastened to explain, and Mrs. Pomfrey hesitated to explain. She was hesitated to say the problem. He was so listless, Mr. Harriot. The name of the doctor is here, Mr. Harriot. So she says to Dr. Harriot, Mr. Harriot, he was so listless, he had become so weak. He seemed to have no energy. It looks like that the dog has no energy. I thought he must be suffering from malnutrition. She said that when she found the dog lazy, no, so she said that he was suffering from malnutrition, that means lack of food, lack of energy. So I have been giving him some little extras between meals to build him up, some malt and cold liver oil and a bowl of Horlicks at night to make him sleep. Nothing much really. Then she said that to make his strength, to make the dog bold, to make the dog active, she given, except food, she had given something extra. What were the extra thing? Some malt, cold liver oil, a bowl of Horlicks at night. Look, so many things are given as the extra food to the dog to have to get the strength, the energy. And did you cut down on the sweet things, as I told you? Then the doctor said that did you cut down the sweet things that he had instructed earlier? The doctor asked that he had whatever he had asked earlier to cut down the like sweet things. Did she had cut or not? Had she cut or not? Oh, I did for a bit, but he seemed to be so weak. I had to relent. Then she said that at first she tried, but he seemed that so weak, so she could not resist herself, and she started giving her whatever he liked. He does love cream cakes and chocolates, so I cannot bear to refuse him. The dog loved cream cakes and chocolates, so the lady could not resist, could not stop her temptation, and she gave the dog chocolates also and also creams, cake creams. I looked down again at the little dog. Again, the doctor looked down at the little dog. That was the trouble, and that was the trouble. Tricky's only fault was greed. It was an animal, so its only fault was his greed. He had never been known to refuse food. He never refused any kind of food. Whatever he got, he started eating. He would tackle a meal at any hour of the day and or night. That means whatever he would got during day or night, he would take and started eating. And I wondered about all the things Mrs. Pomfrey had not mentioned. And he wondered maybe the Mrs. Pomfrey had not mentioned him so many things that she was giving to the dog. Are you giving him plenty of exercise? Then the doctor again asked Mrs. Pomfrey that was she giving him plenty of exercise? Was the dog doing plenty exercise? Well, he has little walks with me, as you can see, but Hodgkin, the gardener, has been uh, down with lumbago, so there has been no ring throwing lately. But she said that you can say that the dog was only walking a little with her, but the gardener was suffering from muscular pain, lumbago muscular pain. So the ring playing game was not. That means the dog was not getting proper exercise. I tried to sound severe. Now the doctor tried to be strong, tried to be firm. Now I really mean this. If you don't cut his foot right down and give him more exercise, he is going to be really ill. Then the doctor told her that if she did not cut his foot at once, then the dog would fall seriously ill. You must harden your heart and keep him on a very strict diet. Then he also said that he must be hard and must maintain the food. That means must maintain the strict diet. That means she must be the dog must be given only food that he needs, not the extra food. Mrs. Pomfrey wrung her hands, and Mrs. Pomfrey was surprised. She was exclaimed. She exclaimed, "Oh, I will, Mr. Harriot." She said, "Okay, I will try. I will do it, Mr. Harriot. I am sure you are right, but it is so difficult, so very difficult." Look what she said. She said that She said that the doctor was right, but it was very difficult to cut the diet. She set off, head down along the road, as if determined to put the new regime into practice immediately. And then, keeping her head down, she went away, just as showing that she would do according to the doctor's advice. I watched their progress with growing concern. Tricky was tottering along in his little tweed coat. He had a whole wardrobe of these coats for the cold weather and a raincoat for the wet days. Look here. The doctor now give attention to the dog, and he found that Tricky was trooping along his little tweed coat. That means the dog had almost all kinds of dresses also. Look here, given a whole wardrobe of these coats and also a raincoat for the rainy days. He struggled on drooping in his harness. That means to move, to walk. He was struggling. He was not able to walk freely. He was drooping. That means he was working hard and hard. I thought it would not be long before I heard from Mrs. Pomfrey. Now, seeing the dog, the doctor had understood that very soon Mrs. Pomfrey, the rich lady, the mistress of the dog, would call him about the dog, because the dog was not in a good body condition. The expected call came within a few days, and within a few days, the expected call came. That means the woman rang the doctor. Mrs. Pomfrey was distraught. She was very disturbed. She was very concerned regarding the dog. That means what you can say is worried. She was so much worried regarding the dog. Tricky would eat nothing. That means at the time when she had called the doctor, at the time the Tricky was eating nothing. Refused even his favorite dishes, and besides, he had bouts of vomiting. And at that time, the dog refused to take his favorite dishes, and also he was vomiting. He was vomiting. He has spent all his time lying on a rug painting, and he has spent most of his time taking deep breath and also in the court lying. Did not want to go for walks, did not want to do anything, and he did not want to leave his place. That means he did not want to move his body. He was only just like a ill person, a very ill person. He was also in his bed, in his rug, keeping himself silent, calm. I had made my plans in advance, so doctor knew it before that the phone would come. So he had made his plans in advance. The only way was to get Tricky out of the house for a period. The doctor thought that there was only one way to recover the dog, and that was that the dog must be get out of the house for a period of time. I suggested that he be hospitalized for about a fortnight to be kept under observation, and the doctor advised her that the dog must be hospitalized for 15 days and it must be kept under his observation, complete observation. The poor lady almost swooned. Look here. The poor lady almost became senseless when she heard that the dog would be kept in hospital. She became almost swooned. That means almost senseless. She was sure he would pine and die if he did not see her every day. Look here. She thought that if the dog would not see her, then it would pine and die. But I took a firm line. But the doctor said in a firm voice, Tricky was very ill, and this was the only way to save him. In fact, I thought it best to take him without delay, and followed my Pomfrey's wailings. I marched out to the car carrying the little dog wrapped in a blanket. Look here. So Tricky was very ill. We have come to know that Tricky was very ill, and to save the dog, and that was the final way, that he must be kept away from the house for a period of time. So he thought that he should took the doctor he should take the dog to his hospital at once. So without delay and without caring about the Mrs. Pumphrey's wailing, he picked up the dog, wrapped in a blanket, and went straight to his car. The entire staff was roused, and maids rushed in and out, bringing his day bed, his night bed, favorite cushions, toys, and rubber rings, breakfast bowl, lunch bowl, super bowl. Look here. And when the doctor took the dog to his car, all the staff of this lady started bringing all the things the dog had. That means the dog was living a luxurious life. Whatever he had night bed, day bed, favorite cushions, toys, rubber rings, breakfast bowl, lunch bowl, super bowl, everything, and they were carrying all those things to the car of the doctor, so that the dog would not feel any difficulty in the hospital or in the house of the doctor. Realizing that my car would never hold all the stuff, I started to drive away. And the doctor realized that all these things would not hold in the car. So he started to drive away. As I moved off, Mrs. Pumphrey, with a despairing cry, threw an armful of the little coats through the window. And when he was going away, when he started the car, he saw that Mrs. Pumphrey, who was wailing, who was crying, had thrown some coats through the window. I looked in the mirror before I turned the corner of the drive. Everybody was in tears. And when the doctor started his car, and when he was to move around a corner of the house or corner of the road, he saw that with the big back mirror, he found that everyone was crying. Everyone, one of the members of his family had tears in their eyes. Out on the road, I glanced down at the pathetic little animal gasping on the seat by my side. I patted the head and Tricky made a brave effort to wag his tail. And at the time, the doctor found that the little dog was lying just near his seat, and he also tried to pat his head. And Tricky made a great effort to wag his tail. Poor old lad, I said, huh? You have not a kick in you, but I think I know a cure for you. He said that the dog had no energy, no movement in his body, but the doctor knew that what treatment he should give the little dog. So half of the lesson, students, half of the lesson I have completed today. Tomorrow I will complete the lesson. So watch this video, and if you feel any difficulties, please contact me through my personal WhatsApp number. Thank you.